call me Mystic Mac because I predict these things.
UFC 315 just wrapped, and I'm going to give my reaction and breakdown to all the fights. Talk about how I did on my predictions. Did okay this card, 8-4 for the night, so not bad. But starting off with Beksat Almakhan versus Brad Katona. I went with Almakhan in this one. Just thought he was going to be the better striker on the feet, be able to defend the takedowns. I think I picked him by KO or decision, and he got a nasty uppercut KO against Brad Katona about 1 minute into the fight. So fantastic win for him. Dude's got a really bright future. I compared him to kind of a flyweight Shavkat Rakhmonov in the a bantamweight Shavkat Rakhmonov in the build-up. So very exciting guy. Really good performance against Umar Nurmagomedov. Now coming off of a 1 minute knockout over Brad Katona, who's got tons of experience in the UFC. So sky's the limit for this guy. I want to see him get back in there ASAP since he didn't take any damage. But next fight, Daniel Santos versus Zhang Young Lee. I went with Lee in this one. I thought he was just going to be the bigger guy. A lot more reach, better chin. Santos hadn't been in there in a few years. Last time he was in there, I think it was the last time against John Castaneda, was getting tagged and kind of hurt on the feet. I thought Lee would be able to hurt him on the feet, be able to defend the takedowns, be the better grappler, but that just wasn't the case this fight. He didn't look very good. Lost a unanimous decision against Daniel Santos, who I was leaning towards in the beginning, but just a lot of those factors kind of swayed me against him. But I think he's very good. Lee, I feel like he dropped the ball in this one, and Daniel Santos is he's a very good fighter. So excited to see him fight again. Next up, Marc-Andre Barriault versus Bruno Silva. I went with Barriault in this one. I just said Bruno Silva. It's like he just doesn't want to be in there anymore, and that's what he looked like in this one. He missed weight. As soon as I heard he missed weight, I was like, oh, it's over. Dude does not want to be in the UFC. He does not want to fight anymore, and got knocked out in the first round against a guy in Barriault who doesn't put guys out like that. So very, very impressive performance by Barriault, and I'm sure Bruno Silva will get probably cut from the UFC, unfortunately. Next up, Navajo Sterling versus Ivan Erslan. Ivan Erslan, I mean, he did good. He had a good showing of himself. Maybe didn't put enough volume out there, but Navajo Sterling, I know he's young in his career. I know he's 7-0 now, and he fights like he's 7-0. I just feel like there was so much hype behind this dude. I expect so much more, and did enough to win the fight. Was getting tagged early in the fight. Depending on the matchup, it's going to be hard to pick this guy if he starts to take on more competent and better competition. I'll leave it at that. So Modestas Bukauskas versus Iwan Kutalaba. I went with Bukauskas in this one. Just figured he'd be the bigger guy, more rangy on the feet, land the better strikes, keep his distance, defend the takedowns. And that's essentially what he did. A lot of people were screaming robbery, and I don't have a problem with the decision. I think he won rounds 1 and 3. I have a problem with two judges giving it 30-27 both ways. The right decision was 29-28. Either way, swing round is round 2. Is it round 2? No, it's round 1. Sorry, Iwan got the second round. That's the swing round. I think I'm right there, but in no way was that a 30-27 for either of these guys. So I just don't get it. I feel like judging is kind of ruining this sport, honestly. But the UFC will do nothing about it. But anyways, I think Bukauskas won that fight. If Kutalab would have won, I wouldn't have been shocked. I wouldn't have been upset. But I do think he won 2 of the 3 rounds. So next up, Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Jessica Andrade. I went with Jasmine Jasudavicius. Just thought she'd be, too much of a problem on the ground, and that's what she was. Got the takedown, immediately got the submission over Jessica Andrade. Jasudavicius is a problem. She's got really good cardio. She's decent enough on the feet, and really good wrestling, really good grappling. So I think I picked her in this one to win by submission or decision, and she ended up getting the submission. Moving on, Mike Malott versus Charles Radke. I went with Malott in this one. Thought he'd just be the bigger guy. A little bit more technical on the feet, a little bigger everywhere, and maybe use his wrestling in this one. I didn't have him by knockout. that was not on my bingo card for tonight was Mike Malott KOing Charles Radke, but he got it done. Very impressive performance, was winning the fight, hurting him on the feet, or not hurting him, but landing good shots on the feet, and eventually got the left hook to knock him out. So big feather in his cap, getting the knockout over a guy like Charles Radke, who's just an absolute dog. Dude's a savage. So for him to get that knockout over him is really good. And you know, that Neil Magny loss kind of made me question this guy, but now I'm thinking like he might be the real deal. Very good skill set, good on the feet, good wrestling, good kicks, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So I think he's got a bright future. So curious to see who they put him up against next. Benoit Saint-Denis takes on Kyle Perpolic. Kyle Perpolic, man, I was rooting for this guy. Seemed like a nice dude, fighting in Canada in front of his home crowd. Was having some success on the feet there, but Benoit Saint-Denis, he's just such a savage. Just looking for the takedowns, beating him up on the ground. Eventually got the arm triangle choke and got the win. So good showing by Kyle Perpolic. I know he's getting up there in age. He's like 35, maybe. But I hope they give him another chance. I really do. He saved this fight for BSD, and you know, put on a decent showing for himself on short notice. So I hope he gets another shot in there. Natalia Silva versus Alexa Grasso. Natalia Silva pitching a shutout over the former champion Alexa Grasso. Won all 3 rounds, just picking her apart, moving back and forth, never slowed down. I'm watching that fight. I'm like, she's got to slow down eventually, right? Because she is just like a ping pong ball, moving, throwing kicks, throwing strikes. Just Alexa Grasso couldn't get anything going, couldn't get her footwork going to get into range, to land her boxing. Really didn't open up with kicks until like the 3rd round to slow her down, and just, you know, pitched a shutout. It was just a very, very impressive performance, Natalia Silva. And she should get a title shot next, I think. I think she beats Valentina Shevchenko. I'm calling it now. She's going to fight Valentina Shevchenko and probably get a decision win over her. I think she's that good. So, Ayman Zahabi versus Jose Aldo. Now, this fight was frustrating. This is where the card kind of nosedived for me, losing the next, or picking the wrong fighters the next 3 fights. Had a really good round 1, came out hot, won that round. Round 2 was kind of iffy, it was very even. Round 3, Jose Aldo knocks him down like 2 times, and this is where I understand that Ayman Zahabi, and maybe this is just cooked. I understand that Ayman Zahabi ended the round very strongly, was landing damage, and ended the round on top. But he was pretty much out on his feet and got knocked down twice. And the only reason that he really landed that damage is because Jose Aldo kind of blew his lungs out going for the finish. It wasn't really by anything that he did as much as just withstand the onslaught that Jose Aldo put on him, and then taking advantage of him gassing. And it's like, regardless of the order of operations of that round, if Ayman Zahabi was on top of Jose Aldo and doing what he did, and Jose Aldo got up and ended the round with 2 knockdowns and kicking the dude in the face, they would have gave the round to Jose Aldo on pure damage and the one being closer to finishing the fight. And you could argue that Zahabi was closer to finishing the fight on the ground too, because he was holding on for dear life. But I don't know. In that second round, I guess you can give it to Zahabi. I'm not terribly upset about the decision. I'm more upset that Jose Aldo missed weight and then came in and fumbled the finish in round 3. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, it's almost better if he wouldn't have even got him that hurt, because he was winning round 3 en route to at least winning round 1 and round 3, and then he gets him hurt and, you know, goes for the kill and gasses out. So it's almost like if he just would have kind of kept that consistent pressure and outpointing him, he would have won the rounds that he needed to get a decision. But either way, Jose Aldo retires. Absolute legend. So good for him. You know, he's getting up there in age. I'd hate to see him start going on like an awful loss streak in the UFC. So yeah, and I mean, Zahabi gets another win, 5 rounds or 5 wins in a row, maybe it is. So good for him. Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. Shevchenko had a really good first round. battered Fiora's nose. I thought it was broken at first, but I don't think she actually broke it. And very close fight, though. Going into the 5th round, it was just kind of back and forth. You know, Fiora, she had a very good showing of herself, shooting takedowns, working in the clinch. I'd have to rewatch this one, but I thought, I mean, I guess you could give it to Shevchenko. I think she won like 3 of the 2 rounds, but I feel like this fight was really close. And I was worried in this one, like the same way that the Tatiana Suarez Weili Zhang fight went, where it's just like, is this person good enough to take out the crafty veteran champ who's been there for forever? And you know, Fiora wasn't able to do it tonight. She had a really bad first round, really started to pick it up after that, and I think it was 2-2 heading into the final. But overall, it was a good fight. It was a good scrap. Shevchenko, you know, you really gotta get her out of there to win. So good fight. Jack Della Maddalena versus Belal Muhammad. This was a fun fight. Belal Muhammad, I mean, I didn't know he wasn't going to start grappling till round 4. You know what I mean? Like, he's standing there going tit for tat with Jack Della Maddalena, who I think is the best boxer in the welterweight division, maybe in the UFC. And he incorporates kicks very well. He's very slippery on the ground. We saw that in his fight with Basil Hafez. We saw that in Gilbert Burns. He's very hard to pin down to the ground and, you know, keep him on the ground. And he was able to do that in a 5-round fight. He looked great tonight. You know, he deserved the belt. It was still a pretty close fight heading into the last round. I mean, it was probably 3-1 Jack. You could argue maybe 2-2 Belal, but Jack Della Maddalena, he won the 5th round. And looked really good, man. Had really good takedown defense, was landing really good shots. Belal Muhammad's chin, that dude's got a chin on him, and that dude is tough. He came to fight. You can't say that he's a boring fighter anymore. You know, he's got a lot of heart, a lot of skill. And Jack Della Maddalena, 18 fights in a row, lost his 2 first pro fights, hasn't lost one since, and looked probably the best we've seen him tonight. I think he even mentioned it in the post-fight, but it's like he probably could have sat down on a few more of his punches and maybe went for it a little bit more, which is crazy because he did go for it. I just thought if he was going to be able to keep it on the feet the way that he did, that he would put Belal out. I was thinking that Belal would be able to land. You know, he landed some good strikes too. He had Jack's eye almost swollen shut in the 5th round. He was landing good shots. Got a few takedowns. I think he got 2 takedowns on Jack Della Maddalena, but he's just very good at, you know, picking the right time to explode back up to his feet. Trains with Craig Jones, so all around really good performance by Jack Della Maddalena. I'm not mad about him winning. I like that. I like he's the champ. I think he's stay active. I think he put on a lot of very entertaining fights at welterweight. He's supposed to fight Islam Makhachev in the post fight. He said he's going to get his revenge for Volk, and I think that's going to be a really good fight because he's going to be bigger than Islam Makhachev. And the way that he was defending these takedowns against Belal, I think that's going to be a very close fight. I would lean Jack in this one. Younger guy, better hands, good takedown defense. I think he beats Islam, honestly. Just, you know, obviously the fight's nowhere near being made or finalized yet, but just looking at that performance that he had, I don't know who beats him. You know, Shavkat maybe has a chance, but I think he beats Shavkat at this point. So I think he beats Ian Gary for sure. Just knowing that was the backup fighter. I hope they don't give him this fight next. They definitely need to do Islam. So, but all in all, good night of fights. 8-4 on picks, which wasn't bad. What was the first one I missed? Yeah, Daniel Santos. You know, I knew he's really good. I knew it was a 50-50 fight, but it is what it is. Ayman Zahabi, you know, very close fight. All these were really the ones that I lost were pretty close. Other than the Lee fight, I think he lost both rounds, all 3 rounds. Man, sorry, I'm tired. And you know, Aldo good showing himself. Fioro, you know, a lot of these fights, a few little tweaks, a few different decisions. I think Fioro at the end of that round 4, she slipped or maybe she got dropped. I never went back and looked, but definitely, you know, caused her to lose that round. That could have been, you know, the swing round to get her the win. And Bilal Muhammad, if he wins round 5, maybe he wins 3-2. Maybe he still loses 3-2. But still very close decisions. So, at least I didn't pick Bruno Silva and then he gets carried out in a stretcher. That's what I was joking with my wife. But anyways, good night of fights. Appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate all the love, the comments I'm getting as of late, and especially this week, getting a lot of discussions and, you know, some people talking trash in the comments, which I like. Keep that coming. So appreciate it, guys. I'll see you this next week against Gilbert Burns, Michael Morales. So thanks, guys.